making a strike out.
This is the convention centre of Kigali. The design is based on an old beehive made of rope. If you ever see a pub in the UK that's called the Beehive, that's often how it's represented. Sort of a rope beehive, not the convention centre in Kigali, but you get the idea. Schwempf coming through the service area at the top of this climb. Bottles, well, there are some. In fact, she's just been by Swanee, who didn't offer up anything, or was that Denmark? I don't think Denmark are here. Yes, they are, with Sjoberg Andersen. I beg your pardon. Another sole representative from a team that have a great deal of strength in depth. In fact, we've done nothing but speak about Danish cycling for quite some time, it seems, this year. They've had quite a time of things.
They have, and I think it goes towards what Mads Pedersen and Jonas Vingegaard have done this year. So, yeah, they're riding high in a wave, but it's another nationality that is sent a very shoestring team.
Yeah, sad in a way, but joyous for those who've turned up, and thank heaven numerous nations have. And the great thing is, as we mentioned perhaps a little earlier, is just how many African teams started this race. Just looking at the Kigali Genocide Memorial back in 1994, darkness descended upon this nation, and since then it recovered itself with international help, of course, and now being able to put the sadness of this event, and indeed all those who passed because of it, in a place of remembrance, but also as a reminder of the darkness that can descend on any nation, and indeed any part of the world, and has done historically all over this beautiful planet of ours. It's a question of coming to terms with it, moving on, and that's precisely what we have done here in Rwanda. And the UCI taking a brave and a magnificent decision to actually bring the World Championships here. But that is not to say that we have forgotten what went on here in Rwanda back in the early 90s. .5 kilometres remaining. The national stadium here, the Amahoro Stadium. Brian, have you had a run around the track, or chucked a javelin, or indeed kicked a goal?
I have, but not here. Interestingly enough, on the course today, there is I don't know if you've noticed it, there's a 4-lane green rubber track next to the golf course. It goes all the way around the golf course, 2.4 kilometres in length. So not only, do we see, major events here in Kigali for cycling, we see the stadium here, but a nice running track around the golf course.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? The Amahoro Stadium, by the way, the name means peace. It can also mean love, apparently. And that is in the Kinyarwanda language. 45,000 seats, which is enough to cheer Brian Smith. I know. Yeah, it is, of course, the national stadium. And during the genocide that we mentioned, it became a UN-designated safe zone, sheltering thousands of civilians. So it served more than just a sporting purpose in its history. Very poignant. Schwempf, one of the fastest parts of the circuit, did say that we will be nudging up into the 70s. And here's that bounce, another one of them. Not quite as focused as the one that took us on to the first climb, but there is another climb to be dealt with, and it's got cobbles. Here we go. Look at the wrists and the elbows, and just believe how uncomfortable this can be. Turning 11% into something that feels nearer to 20% just because of the rolling surface. Not nice, and when we get into full attack mode, which we'll have in the last 3, possibly the last 2 laps, this is going to be the action point, the pivotal point almost of the entire race, Brad.
It could be the last time up, Carlton. You never know, and that's what's going to kind of keep us guessing. Only the riders in the race will know what their tactics is for the duration of this race. We've seen very different races, of course, over the last couple of days, with some really exciting time trials earlier on in the week, and this race will be decided by, the riders on the road.
Well, at the moment, Schrempf is out alone. She's going to start to feel it being on your own, but she's still, the pace that she is putting into this day is still a magnificent one, and she holds around about 3 minutes of a margin. In fact, it's getting closer to 3 minutes than it has been throughout. And, well, a little bit of focus coming here. Italy have kept themselves safe, also first to the feed zone as well. But right now, I'm just looking through this pack and assuming where our favoured status is going to come from. There are some teams with big numbers that are very much focused on one rider. For Spain, that rider is Mavi Garcia. She was 10th in Glasgow. There is, however, you get this within all teams, there's always something of a dark horse, and I'd probably call that Mireia Benito for Spain. And they must have some belief after the junior race, which was absolutely magnificent. Some great performances there. But Spain, when you get success within a team, you know this from the Olympics, Brian, it fires absolutely everybody up, doesn't it? Changes the mood.
Yeah, of course it does. It doesn't matter where it happens within the team. And the medal table so far in this race, these events, the Netherlands are in 2 golds, 1 silver, 1 bronze. Great Britain on 2 golds, France on 1 gold, 2 silvers, 1 bronze. So that's your top 3. So Spain a little bit below that. But yeah, there are a lot of teams here with strengths, but you have to look at last year's World Championships in Switzerland and Zurich, where it was another kind of difficult course. Okay, we've got a few more metres of elevation, a harder task for everybody. But looking at the American team that is here, maybe not the biggest team with 2 riders, Ruth Edwards and Chloe Dygard, but Chloe Dygard doing, a good time trial, but let's see what she can do here. 2nd last year in a sprint finish, but this is going to be a totally different race today.
Certainly is. There's only as you can see, we're just getting a countdown to the completion of this climb. Still just over 100 meters to go, less than that now. Eating into it, but it's those a rider who is up front, Schrempf, at the moment. When you look at the front of the pack, it just, especially on some of the turns of the pack, especially on some of the turns, of course, but it's getting more defined with every single lap. And I think those riders without support riders, without indeed any kind of backup, including Schrempf, of course, it's going to get more and more wearing. How much protection can a team offer you, Brian, on a course such as this with so many slow sections within it?
I think it's very difficult. It seems to be kind of twisting and turning in the whole way around this course. And these 2 climbs come in quick succession. I think the only respite you get is just after the finishing line, when you get a little bit of a kind of downhill before we head out towards kind of golf course. But these laps come up very, very quickly. We're talking about going round here for the women 23, 24 minutes. And that's only going to get faster as this race starts to ramp up. Like many of the races that we've already had in this course, it's not about the action at the front. All the action seems to be the rear of the peloton. That door is open on every climb, especially this climb, it's open, and riders are getting distanced all the time. So this is going to get smaller and smaller, this group. The last time round, there was 72 riders in the main peloton, and come the last lap, there could only be maybe 20, 30 riders left.
The struggles are starting to be magnified here, as you can see. Afghanistan, Yıldız Hashimi bravely pushing on the pedals here, but looks like the gate will await.